How did she become the Scottish Queen? And where did her story begin? Watch until the end to find out. In his epistle to the Romans, St. Paul teaches us, "In all things, God works for the good of those who love him." Unfortunately, our way of judging circumstances is often so narrow-minded and practical that we are unable to see the bigger picture of things. However, we must keep in mind that many times when things seem most tragic to us, God's hand is especially active, promoting the salvation of souls, for example, and as in Margaret's case, even the destiny of nations. The beginning of Saint Margaret's life was a tragic one. First, her father, Edward the Exile, was to be the heir to the English throne, but he unexpectedly died. Then, Princess Agatha, her mother, who was now a widow, was forced to flee from England with her and her siblings, but they ended up shipwrecking. When they left England, a frightful storm had come across the North Sea, blowing them off course to present-day Edinburgh. And thirdly, to make things even worse, we have to remember that at that time, Scotland was a rather uncultivated, far corner of the world that lacked, so to say, the finer manners of the other Christian kingdoms. For Margaret's family, this constituted a great trial. First, they lost their father. Then they went off course. Then they shipwrecked. And now they were in a barbaric-like land unknown to them. Humanly speaking, their life was a disaster. However, God's hand was present in everything. How? Because it was His will for the barbarian customs to come to an end in those lands. And He chose Margaret, His noble princess, as His instrument to implant the faith amongst the Scots. And here we can stop and make a little reflection. Please don't forget to leave your comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel. How many times do we ask ourselves, oh, how could God allow such a thing to happen? Why does God permit this or why does God permit that? And without realizing it, of course, this isn't something that we do consciously or that we do on purpose but we think ourselves to be wiser than God. But wait a minute, is God not all-knowing? Is He not all-powerful? In one word, is He not infinitely perfect? Saint Margaret, for example, surely didn't understand many things that happened during her childhood, even throughout the rest of her life. Nonetheless, she was always a soul who said yes to God's designs. God is infinitely wise. If He allowed this or that to happen, it's because He knows what is best, and something good will surely come from it. On our part, we should imitate Samuel. God, here I am. Or in other words, let your will be done and not mine. After all, was this not Our Lady's perfect response to the angel Gabriel? What would have been the destination of mankind had she not said, "Let it be done to me according to thy word"? Saint Margaret of Scotland always conformed herself with God's designs, constantly renouncing her own will, her own desires, what she wanted to do. She, for example, wanted to become a nun, but she ended up marrying the Scottish monarch, Malcolm III, and became the Scottish Queen. It was God's will. Now, according to the etymology of her name, she ended up becoming known as the Pearl of Scotland, and it is thanks to her fidelity that this nation received its deep Catholic roots. It was under her influence that Scotland experienced one of the most happiest periods of its history. She promoted education, she helped in religion, she founded several churches, she built hospitals, and she cared for the poor. And in her royal position, she did not allow herself to become attached to the earthly goods, but rather distributed them with great love. And just as a good mother strives to give her children a good education, she teaches them manners, she teaches them the right ways of being, the ways to act in society, how they should be in this situation or in that situation. So Saint Margaret did with the Scottish people. She took them under her arms as if they were her own. And in this way, over the years, the barbarian customs were transformed. Little by little, it's true, but they were transformed. What would Scotland have been if it wasn't for that unexpected death of her father in her early years, or that storm that had taken their family's boat off course? If she had been unfaithful to her mission as queen, what would have happened? The answer would be hypothetical. Only God knows the response. However, her fidelity serves as a great example for us. And she invites us to look at the events of our life with this supernatural perspective and to strive to see God's hand present in everything. If sometimes He permits our boat to go off course like He did Margaret's, is because He is preparing something even better. A greater good is going to come from it. The only thing He asks is that we trust and confide in Him.
If you like this video, press the like button and leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos.